Hello. This is the Apostate Prophet. I hope you're having a fantastic, amazing day. And this is some guy called David Wood. Hey, David, how are you doing?
Yo, what's up?
Good,
I was
good.
posting on Twitter that I'm live with some dude.
Some dude that you just encountered.
Some
Awesome.
apostate.
Some apostate. So today we have news, which is why we abruptly decided to get in touch and go live together. Everyone probably heard of it now. It's Salman Rushdie was attacked today. I was totally busy. I found it out because somebody sent me a message saying that, and I was like, wait a minute, what? So I started reading. Have been following the news loosely. The latest news are not very good. He is alive, but not in a good way. First off, David, anything you want to say before?
No, I started hearing the news about some dude being attacked on stage in New York. I was like, man, someone annoyed Will Smith's wife again or something.
Yeah, there was probably that's off guard. Too soon, David.
Really?
No, yeah.
I'm technically a psychopath. You can't hold stuff against me because I don't always know the appropriate response.
Yeah, no, it was unfortunately it was not Will Smith, but it was apparently some guy who.
Hey, you just cut out. Hey, you're muted.
Okay, am I here?
Yeah, now you're unmuted.
Yeah, whatever.
Amateur hour here?
It is probably. So an attacker by the name of, what's his name again, David?
The attacker?
Yeah.
It was something like Hadi Matar or something like that.
Hadi Matar. Okay, I got it.
Hadi
Matar, 24 years old, from Fairview, New Jersey, with allegedly sympathies toward the Iranian government and the Ayatollah. Went to an event in New York where Salman Rushdie was about to speak and stabbed him. And the witness accounts are that he stabbed Salman Rushdie in the neck. And I see in the latest report by the police in the neck and the abdomen.
Yeah, a lot of people who were watching from the audience didn't see the guy's knife, so they thought he was punching him when actually he had a blade in his hand and was repeatedly stabbing him. Hadi's actually I think that's one of the 99 names of Allah. I don't know what it means.
Yeah, it is. It means the one who guides.
Okay, that makes sense then.
He gives hidayah, he guides. That's what it means. There's some footage. I'm not sure if we can actually show footage here, but I don't know. But there's some footage of the guy actually going there, and let's see if we can have a look at this here quickly. Do you know if there's any problem with this? I don't think there is, right? I don't care right now, honestly. So
worst case, they'll just shut us down for a few seconds.
Yeah. So they don't really show the attack here, I guess.
This is the worst footage I've ever seen in my life.
Same. I don't know what people recorded this with, but
what a pinhole camera.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's actually footage from the attack. There's just somebody from the audience filming this, and people are just running to that place, and then it just cuts off to the back of the audience. But I guess if we want to go through an article, we can go through the latest reports here and see what they say.
Hey,
Yes.
if he loses an eye, he's gonna look pretty cool with an eye patch.
Probably.
Did you ever see? I watched a season of a show called Curb Your Enthusiasm specifically because they made it about a fatwa on him.
Yes.
Did you watch that season?
I did.
Do you remember when he met Salman Rushdie, and Salman Rushdie was making it sound like it's super cool to have a fatwa on you? And he's saying, "Oh, you're a dangerous man. The women will all want you now." And he goes, "You got the fatwa sex. The fatwa sex is the best sex." And you think that's he's just being funny. But that dude is married to like Padma Lakshmi, and you get like all these hot women are attracted to him. And now he's going to have an eye patch. This guy's going to look like the like an author / pirate. And Jordan Peterson says pirates are one of the main things, like in one of the main categories of guys and like women's fantasies. So this guy's going to be like this guy, Salman Rushdie, who's one of the weirdest looking dudes in the world, is going to be like the most attractive guy in the world now. Thanks, jihadis. You just got him way hotter chicks.
I actually wanted to show footage of the show, but I thought that's probably not a good idea right now. But yeah, no, that was hilarious, and he said something like, "It's like you have the fatwa wrapped around you like sexy something." I don't know.
He's saying it in a restaurant, and he's got Elizabeth Banks who's giving him googly eyes because now he's got a fatwa on him.
Yeah. So if we come to here, the article, which is from Guardian. It says, for what we know so far about the event, is that he was appearing in Chautauqua Institution in Western New York to speak about the importance of U.S. offering asylum for writers and other artists. He was introduced to an audience of 2,500 people. A man wearing a black mask stormed the stage and began assaulting Salman Rushdie, punching or stabbing him multiple times. According to multiple accounts, people rushed. He was airlifted to a hospital. Officials said that he has wounds on the neck and the abdomen. So he was stabbed in the neck and the abdomen with a knife by the attacker. Have not released precise information about his condition, but doctors described Rushdie's wounds as serious but recoverable at first, but we'll come to the details. The suspect is Hadi Matar, a 24-year-old from New Jersey who purchased a ticket for the event. And of course, his motive was totally unclear to everybody. And this, of course, is related to the Ayatollah Khomeini back in the day declaring a fatwa and commanding the killing of Salman Rushdie, and even offering $3 million for that, which is, by the way, something that the current Supreme Leader, Khamenei, also repeated on Twitter. And that guy is still on Twitter, right?
Yeah. Salman Rushdie is 75 years old, man. That if he survives this and recovers, you had like a good 10 seconds stabbing this dude, and he's 75 years old. If this guy survives, man, I don't know. Jihadi's going to look like an idiot.
Yeah. And the latest news, which is why I said that the news are not that great, although he will survive, are so according to Reuters, author Salman Rushdie will likely lose an eye and suffered severed nerves in an arm and damage to his liver after he was stabbed on Friday. His agent said, adding that Rushdie was on a ventilator. The news is not good. Salman will likely lose one eye, the nerves in his arm are severed, and his liver was stabbed and damaged. So,
man, eye, arm, and abdomen. Liver, got a liver shot. That's bad. And we know that he was stabbed in the neck as well. So that's some serious damage.
Yeah. And we also have, I believe, we have some footage of the guy who actually carried out the attack while he's being taken away by the authorities. I actually saw that when I looked for on Twitter for responses, where I found this very beautiful, very telling response from a Muslim commenter to the situation. He said, the youngest Ghazi. Ghazi means
Like a jihadi
yeah, it's like a fighter,
warrior.
an honorific way of a fighter in Islam. This youngest Ghazi who packed a blasphemer, Salman Rushdie, in New York City hard. May Allah protect you, brother. This is a Muslim commenter. There are many such comments on Twitter.
There are thousands. There are thousands of them.
And on social media, all over social media, you will see many comments by people who will say, "MashaAllah, bless this guy. He stabbed and humiliated Salman Rushdie. May he, be I don't know, may he be given Jannah and stuff like that. Or go to paradise and things like that." There's really a lot of disgusting stuff going on. So this is footage of the guy being taken away after stabbing Salman Rushdie in the name of Allah and Islam and in the name of the Ayatollah, I guess.
And then the Ibrahim Hooper, the spokesman for the Council on American Islamic Relations, warned that this could lead people to blame Islam for the stabbing. And he said, American Muslims, like all Americans, condemn any violence targeting anyone in our society.
Do they?
And that's I mean, you do see it. You do see Muslims condemning it on Twitter, but as far as what I saw, it was far more common, as far as the ones I saw, to be praising this guy as a hero and a lion of Islam.
Just here is an example of comments that you posted for where Muslims comment on this issue, and they praise the guy, saying, "Good man, hero, well done, bro, king, legendary. Khair in this ummah is khair is goodness, blessing." Here is another of Kwachi brothers. Wait a minute. Brave man, good shot. Why did he do this? Can someone explain? Hero, may Allah Almighty reward him. Look at all the positive reactions and hearts. Allahu Akbar, he's very brave. Hero, may Allah reward him, our hero. And so on. There are so many of these. So what happens is that a man who received a fatwa for his death decades ago for writing a book called The Satanic Verses is being, after so many decades, cowardly stabbed by some pathetic little cowardly insect. And these people out here come and call him brave and celebrate this and say, "Wonderful, great job, our hero." That's what's going on here. A man is being stabbed by some ridiculous parasitic coward, and these people are celebrating this as a heroic act.
Man. And why do you think that guy in particular sent them into such an uproar for so many decades now?
I mean, it was a unique
because
thing.
I agree with where'd that comment go? Harkamel said, surely AP and David Wood have said far worse things about Islam, right? We've said far worse things about Islam than Salman Rushdie. So why do you think it's him? There seems to be a connection between how much media attention something gets and their level of outrage. Like if you draw a little cartoon and some people find out about it, well, no problem. But if it becomes a news story, like the Charlie Hebdo cartoons or something like that, then they have to do something, or it's shameful to the community. But with him, I just recorded a video about this. It seems he's got an apostate vibe to him. He did come from a Muslim family. They were like liberal Muslims. But then after the fatwa on him, he said that he had returned to Islam. He later said he wasn't really serious, but he's got this apostate vibe about him. And then the blasphemy. And then, of course, he's naming his book The Satanic Verses, one of the most embarrassing stories in the history of Islam, that Muhammad actually received verses from Satan, delivered those verses to his followers, and then came back later and said, "Sorry, guys, the devil made me do that. I couldn't tell the difference between a revelation from God and a revelation from Satan." but I'm good now. Believe everything I say now. Massively embarrassing. But for the first more than a century, that Muslims took that as fact. It's not until later that they started editing and deleting this story. So Ibn Hisham took it out of Ibn Ishaq, and they started deleting the story and then pretending it never happened. And now almost every Muslim you'll run into will say, no, someone just made that up, even though that's what all their earliest guys said happened. And in the book by Shahab Ahmed on the Satanic Verses, he gives 50 sources. He gives 50 Muslim sources for the Satanic Verses. And the idea that this is all just made up, that Muslim, a ton of early Muslims just made up stories about Muhammad delivering revelations from the devil until it was considered fact. And then later Muslims have to come along and say, oh, yeah, that story is just made up. It's just beyond ridiculous. And so he hit a nerve by bringing back into the public one of the most embarrassing stories about Muhammad ever, that Muhammad could tell the difference between a revelation from God and a revelation from Satan. And he actually got duped into promoting polytheism and delivering verses saying that you could pray to pagan goddesses, pagan bird goddesses, and delivering it as part of the Quran. It was originally in Surah 53 until he took it out and said, the devil made me do it. But yeah.
There's also so much more to take into consideration. I mean, he was a lot. He did all of the stuff that he did, publishing this book and then promoting it and just existing at a time where it wasn't so common for people to see criticism of Islam or mockery of Islam and all that. I mean, the internet, the social media, and all that, everything we have today, was not around. He was a known person, a writer who came out with a book, and that got media attention. I mean, his publicity is different from us. We are here on YouTube. We are not on mainstream media, in newspapers and on TV. So we do stuff on social media, which doesn't find its way quickly into the eye of the mainstream population. This stuff is not publicized. We did much worse things than Salman Rushdie ever did, in terms of, worse by Islamic terms. But we are just on the safer side because we are not in the mainstream public eye. If we were people who regularly spoke to certain news channels and regularly appeared on TV, or if we were, known in those circles, then of course stuff that we do would get much wider recognition, much wider condemnation, and there would be people sent after us immediately. But it's simply not that easy anymore. And after the emergence of social media, the internet, YouTube, everybody now says terrible things about Islam, and Muslims just have to deal with that as much as they can. With the issue with Salman Rushdie is he had a fatwa from a major Islamic authority on his head, and that has never been forgotten. If people say something about me, if people send me death threats, or if some regular guy say I think Salman Rushdie should be killed, or David Wood should be killed, or this and that should be killed, that's just something that is said, stays there, and is forgotten. But this comes from the Ayatollah Khomeini, who is like the hero of Iran and a religious authority. He's like the representative of Allah's law by Shia Muslims, and his word also spreads through the Muslim world, not just to Shia Muslims, but to others. And through him, this whole rage against Salman Rushdie becomes even more widespread, more elevated. It is not forgotten, even when decades pass, as you can see. And eventually somebody comes and tries to take his life in such a cowardly way and leaves him permanently damaged. I hope he will be okay. I really wonder I wish him good recovery, but I don't know. It's just terrible.
Yeah, it's a young dude too. Young dude who stabbed him. So this is a dude who probably wasn't even born. Probably wasn't even born when the Satanic Verses came out. Almost certainly never read them, and just hey, here's a guy that Muslims were enraged about a long time ago, and he's in my area.
Yeah. You're right. The Satanic Verses was published in 1988. The guy was not alive at that time yet. the guy who stabbed him. So I don't know.
Yep. So anyway, there are still some guys out there who mean what they say. You know what I mean? Like you get death threats, I get death threats, and you're pretty certain 99% of them aren't serious, but you occasionally get a serious guy.
That's the issue. I spoke to these two FBI agents once, and I was sitting there, and they were telling me to give them something if I have a serious concern for my safety and all that. And I was like, I get so many things. I have no idea what is a serious threat. I don't know what to take seriously and what not. And he said to me, well, yeah, the problem is actually with threats, most of them are just words. They are not serious. They will not go through. And if somebody actually intends to do something, then they will not send you threats ahead. And that is the problem, he said. Yeah, great. What am I supposed to do with that information now? Yeah, but I mean, this is just a reminder, just to refresh everyone's memory, everyone's attention, that nobody is safe from this. People were attacked and killed in the past for making short films, for making movies, for cartoons, for writing poetry, for all kinds of things about Islam, for allegedly offending Islam. People are still in constant threat in Muslim countries and in other countries with large Muslim populations. People are constantly under threat because they could be accused of offending Islam and then be violently lynched and killed. Celebrities can be attacked and hurt and killed. Theo van Gogh was in the Netherlands. He was killed over a over a film that he made together with Ayaan Hirsi Ali. She had a serious threat. She still hides as much as she can. And just today, when people have long forgotten how it is to wake up to such news. Again, Salman Rushdie has been attacked in a very brutal way. And according to the latest news, he will lose his eye, probably. He might lose his eye, and he might have some permanent damage. This is a threat that we are constantly living with. This is the ideology that we are dealing with. It is not at all disconnected from Islam. It has everything to do with Islam. Islam is the main motivator behind this. And as you can see, many people who believe in Islam and who love Islam go online and praise this act of stabbing and attacking somebody who offends Islam. It is clear as day. There is a threat. We are dealing with this threat, and we should never forget that. Yeah. Anything you want to add to that, David?
No. You said it all, man. You said it all. So the concern right now is that these attacks always seem to inspire the next generation. You know what I mean? Like you think you're past Salman Rushdie, right? No one cares anymore. But notice, so you have like you had 9/11, and then everyone wants to bomb, and then you had all these attempts to take down planes after that, and they generally failed. So then it was, we can blow up trains and so on. So there were train attacks and bus attacks and so on. And then eventually, when it was becoming harder for the jihadis to get weapons, they started someone would get into a truck and plow into a crowd, and then everyone started doing it. This is what we're supposed to do. And now all of a sudden you got all these guys cheering for someone who stabbed Salman Rushdie. But it's basically, you're some young Muslim, you're watching this and you're saying, wow, this guy is a hero. This is how you become a hero to millions and millions of people. Just run up on stage and stab someone a bunch of times. And so, gotta watch out for the copycats after this.
Yeah. There's some news saying that the moderator of the event was also attacked and injured in this event. Ralph Henry Rees said that Salman Rushdie is one of the great defenders of freedom of speech and freedom of creative expression. He was released from the hospital after receiving a facial injury. And he also said the fact that this attack could occur in the United States is indicative of the threat to writers from many governments, from many individuals and organizations. That's the latest news. As so far, he is still alive, but he's on a ventilator. And yeah, that's what is.
What do you
going
think?
on.
How do you think non-Muslims will react to this?
Let me tell you something. I earlier, do you know about the channel Trigonometry?
No.
So it's a channel of two guys who like to host controversial conversations. I saw that they were talking about this issue, so I went there, and I thought, these guys are not afraid. I mean, they are aware of stuff that goes on in the world. So I commented and said, that this is a reminder that we should keep criticizing and talking about Islam because it's a problem. And even those guys said as a response, I'm not sure if that's like the conclusion that we would really get from this, because it is always important to separate Islam from the extreme and from Islamism and all that. And I was like, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. So I told them, you have no idea what you're talking about. It is the same thing. This is inspired and commanded directly by Islam. So they said that they would like to invite me on their channel to discuss this issue with somebody there, which I said I would gladly accept. But it's not just the people that you that you call Western progressive liberals who are afraid to offend anybody. It's not just those people. It is even people on the right, conservative people who want to openly speak about problems. Even those are very often fooled. Even those will be fooled by this. Even many of those will say today, well, this is probably not about Islam. This is probably just a political thing.
Yeah. Someone keeps posting over and over again. I'm not sure if the person is trying to expose this or is serious, but Chinese bloke mailer UWU keeps posting Quran 532. The above verse states that if any person were to kill another human, if not for murder or corruption, mischief, it is as if killing whole of humanity. So if you're actually posting that to suggest, that the attack on Salman Rushdie is condemned by the Quran, notice you didn't quote the entire verse, because it says that this was a teaching of the Jews. That's actually from the Talmud. Yeah. And please, by all means, quote the very next verse about what it says about those who wage war on Allah's messenger, and then read the commentary of Ibn Kathir, where that involves simple, spreading unbelief and so on, which Salman Rushdie is doing.
Let's do that
and
right
so,
now.
And my goodness, when Ali Dawah threatened you, saying that once they, take over, people like you are going to be killed.
Yeah.
He said why? He said it's for spreading corruption in the land, because you're spreading you're spreading your unbelief. That's corruption in the land.
Yeah.
And so Chinese was it Chinese bloke mailer? Anyway, I don't know what you intended by that, but if you're intending to say that Islam condemns this, you really need to try that somewhere else, because pretty weak.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be very nice and also read the Quran, since somebody tries to quote it. So it says in chapter 5, verse 32, because of that we decreed upon the children of Israel that whoever kills a soul, unless for a soul or for corruption in the land, it is as if he had slain mankind entirely. And whoever saves one, it is as if he had saved mankind entirely. And our messengers had certainly come to them with clear proofs that indeed many of them after that throughout the land were transgressors. And now, after this, this says, a verse from the Talmud, and the Quran acts like this is Allah's word to the Jews. In the next verse, however, chapter 5, verse 33, it says, "Indeed, the penalty for those who wage war against Allah and His Messenger and strive upon the earth to cause corruption is none but that they be killed or crucified, or that their hands and feet be cut off from opposite sides, or that they be exiled from the land. That is for them a disgrace in this world, and for them in the hereafter is a great punishment." So what does it say? Against those who wage war against Allah and those who cause corruption, that you should kill or crucify them, or cut their hands and feet off from opposite sides, or exile them. That's their punishment. This is what the Quran says. This is what the Quran really is. It's not a book that condemns killing and murder.
Hey, check this out. So I just went to Ibn Kathir's commentary, even on Surah 532, and then Surah 5 verse 33. So the heading is the punishment of those who cause mischief in the land. It said, Allah said next, "The recompense of those who wage war against Allah and His Messenger and do mischief in the land is only that they shall be killed or crucified, or their hands and their feet be cut off on the opposite sides, or be exiled from the land." And then his commentary. This Ibn Kathir, considered by many to be the greatest Quran commentator of all time.
Yes.
He says, wage war, mentioned here, means oppose and contradict. And it includes disbelief, blocking roads, and spreading fear in the fairways. Mischief in the land refers to various types of evil. So notice it includes even disbelief. And waging war means simply you're opposing and contradicting. Because keep in mind, how do you actually wage war against Allah? You don't march an army against Allah. But if you're opposing and contradicting Him, that's how you wage war with Allah. And the punishments, depending on the severity of what you're doing, includes crucifixion, chopping off body parts, and crucifixion.
Yeah. And this verse, by the way, which people love to quote, 532, is a very good example to show that Islam, that the author of the Quran just copied things from others, including from the Jews and from their Talmud. Because it is actually the Talmud which contains this whole idea within the same context, by the way, with the same background, that it's also introduced in the Quran. And it says, "Whoever destroys a soul, it is considered as if he destroyed an entire world. And whoever saves a life, it is considered as if he saved an entire world." I think, doesn't the text say whoever kills a Jew? I don't know if that's, or if that's a different instance. But there were passages like that because it was being applied it was a legal context, yeah.
right? It was, so they're in a legal context. But the lesson was drawn from the story of Cain and Abel. Where it said after Cain kills Abel, God says that He hears his brother's bloods crying from the ground, not blood singular, it's bloods plural. And so the conclusion of the rabbis was that this is the text telling you, this is the Torah telling you that when you kill someone, you're not just killing that person, you're killing all his future generations. Mm-hmm. And so it's as if you're killing all of mankind.
Yeah. So it's the rabbi commenting on the Torah and saying these things. And here comes the Quran and says, "This is why we decreed upon the children of Israel that whoever kills a soul," and so on. So it's actually something that the rabbis say here when they comment on the Torah. But in the Quran, supposedly the Almighty, all-knowing Allah claims that it is He who decreed this to the children of Israel, which is dumb. Now, some Muslims might come out to this and say, "Well, it's just the Jews, when the rabbis with the Talmud, they had this whole idea, this law, these words from Allah before, and that's why you can find it in the Talmud, and all of that." But that's simply simply nonsense. It's very clearly a commentary.
There are massive. I mean, there are multiple problems with this, right? So you have one that what you pointed out, that this is a rabbi commenting on a verse, but the Quran gives the rabbi's commentary in the Talmud and thinks that that's a command of Allah.
Yeah.
It's not. It would be like me reading the Quran and then saying, here's some lesson I can draw from it. And then a person hears me saying that and doesn't know that I'm just giving my own interpretation of this and not actually quoting the Quran. And then the person walking away thinking that what I said, my interpretation was actually in the Quran.
Yeah.
So you have that. But then also in the Talmud, it makes sense. In the Talmud, it makes sense, right? You have the story of Cain and Abel. And then the rabbi says, and he gives the explanation about the bloods, and saying that since it's plural, it's not just Abel. It's not just Abel's blood that's crying out. It's all his future descendants crying out for justice for the murder. But the Quran leaves that part out. It gives the story of Cain and Abel and then says, therefore, but it leaves out the part about the bloods, and it doesn't follow at all. It makes absolutely no sense. Muslims, go to the verses before this, before Surah 5, verse 32, and explain the connection between the story of Cain and Abel, and then Surah 5, verse 32, therefore Allah revealed for the Jews, if anyone killed a man, it's as if he's killed all mankind. Like, explain there's no connection. When you see a therefore, there's a saying, when you see a therefore, you need to check what it's there for, right? It's saying that from this, it follows. It doesn't follow. It doesn't follow at all in the Quran. It makes zero sense. It makes perfect sense in the Talmud because there's a logical connection, but that connection is missing in the Quran. And so it's clear, once again, as we've seen over and over again, it's clear that Muhammad is copying these stories that he's hearing, and he copies them and does not fully understand them. He doesn't fully understand because he's just hearing. He can't even read them. He's just hearing by word of mouth these stories, and then he puts them in a poetic fashion and gives them an Islamic twist. And he doesn't know what in the world. He just doesn't know what he's talking about. He's trying to sound knowledgeable about these things. He's hearing stories from people, and then I got the same revelation too, but the revelations don't make sense.
Yeah. No, you said it all. It's I also made a huge video about this, by the way. I don't know, it was a while ago. I made a video about this and explained very much how this actually exposes the Quran as plagiarizing other people's beliefs and texts and all that, and also that this is just completely inherently violent and disgusting. We want to keep this strictly under an hour. I know you have a little time you need to go. I'll quickly look at a few super chats here, and then we will leave. Breakfast Gun said, did Ibn Farouk come out right away and condemn this, considering this was a real stabbing and not ketchup after all? Seriously, though, yeah. Did he? Should we call out all the Muslims and Muslim Dawa people now and say, hey, where are you? Why are you not condemning this attack? Just as they do when something allegedly happens to them.
And by the way, how could they sincerely condemn an attack on someone like Salman Rushdie? You know what I mean? How could they could say it? And some of them might believe it, but we know for a fact a lot of these guys would approve of this attack.
Yeah, let me quickly tag him here on YouTube and tell him to condemn this attack. And meanwhile, let's go to the next one. Lean Rashid made a super sticker, which I cannot see here, but I believe it was a good one. Islam Mentrio Verdad made a super chat with a currency that I have no idea what that is, but thank you so much. Varun said, why neck, any surah or hadith? No, unless there's a verse which says, and strike their necks wherever you find them. But I don't think that is meant to be literally precise.
Well, the Quran says strike at their necks. So
yeah, it does say that.
I don't know if that's the guy's intention, but there is a trend in jihadi attacks to go for the neck. Yeah.
They just want to make sure that the other person dies. The guy doesn't want Salman Rushdie just to be injured. He wants to kill him. And here is the messed up thing. Now we're talking about this issue. We are talking about an attacker doing something horrendous. And the issue is, as we are talking about this, the guy who did this, of course, doesn't see the whole issue from our point of view and doesn't see it the way we see it. And Muslims who applaud this and who say, hey, well done, this is our hero, they don't see it from our perspective. The guy who did this today, the guy who went up there and stabbed and tried to kill Salman Rushdie actually genuinely believes that he did the right thing. He really believes that he did the right thing, and that this is what Allah wants from him, and this is what the Ayatollah wants from him. He thinks now that he has done a great thing, and he will be rewarded for this. And the Muslims who approve of this and who applaud this, they genuinely think that that guy did the right thing, that this is the right thing to do. They don't consider this evil. They don't think this is a horrible thing, but they do it anyway. No, they think this is the right thing to do, because in their worldview, they learn that that is the way, that is the law, that is how they are seen as good and then rewarded by their great maker Allah, who commands to humiliate and to fight the disbelievers and the blasphemers. That's what we're dealing with. And at fault here is the ideology, the belief that we are talking about, the Islamic belief, the Islamic commands, the Islamist ideology that we are dealing with, which corrupts people's minds and makes them believe that it is the right thing to do, to go out there and to stab somebody in the neck and to kill them because they offended your holy prophet and your God and your religion and your community. That's how messed up the situation is. That's how dangerous it is.
And this dude, man, someone pointed out that if Salman Rushdie has one eye now, people are going to call him the Dajjal. That will depend on which eye. It'll depend on which eye got stabbed.
Yeah. But then again, Muhammad thought that some little boy in his time was the Dajjal, so you can't blame them, right? Even their own prophet was so paranoid about this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, Muslims, if you're not aware of this, if you're listening to this, your prophet suspected that some little guy, some little dude who just hit puberty in his own time was the Dajjal. He actually had the suspicion. And his loyal advisor, Omar, actually said, "Let me cut off his neck, Ya Rasulullah." And he was like, "We don't know if it's the Dajjal. If it's not the Dajjal, then you will have killed some random guy. And if it is the Dajjal, then you will not be able to kill him anyway. So best not do it, So
Hey, let me respond to a quick comment here. I normally ignore the people like this, but Lava Lulu, who is also Alika, posting on multiple accounts, says, "David Wood, you think you're a genius, but here you are trying to be relevant on AP's expense. How about not banning people who don't hold biblical opinions?" This is Alika again. So the claim over and over again from Alika is that I ban people who disagree with me. And here I am having a discussion with AP, who does not agree with me on much, along with many of his followers. Alika, let me break this down for you. I do block people who come into any discussion and then try to divert the discussion to other things and distract people from what we're talking about. That's what I block people for. I block trolls who say, hey, there was just a terrorist attack. A guy just got stabbed in the throat. And we're going to talk about this. And someone comes and starts trying to change the subject to distract everyone. When I see someone do that, yes, I block them. Other people don't block them. That's up to you. But don't act like, you disagree with me about something, therefore I block you. Come on.
And by the way, you can block and unblock whoever you want. So it's not like it's an honor code or anything. But yeah, and we are with people with two completely different worldviews. When we come together, we disagree about things. We openly, in front of the camera, talk about our disagreements and mock each other's worldviews. But hey, here we sit together and talk like normal human beings. Wow, what a surprise. Soikovic said there is no radical Islam, just Islam or Islam. Even Apple won't touch that. Yeah. Apostate Maulana Khwaja Munidun Chisti said, super sticker. I can't see that super sticker here, unfortunately, in my wonderful program. Gedalia said, whoever destroy. Okay, we already saw that. I pulled it up because of the whole discussion. GQ said, thoughts on Israel. Thank you for your videos. You want thoughts on Israel right now in the last 5 minutes, in the last 2 minutes? I don't think that's possible. I made a video about the Israel conflict a while ago. You can find that. David, do you have any comments on Israel? One word, two, three.
No.
Okay, that was one word.
Like what? It's like discuss Russia. What are your thoughts on Russia? What?
In 3 words. Varun said Houghton was attacked in the head as well. Oh yeah, she was. The guy tried to stab her in the. What was it? He attacked her in the face or the throat or something too,
He
right?
stabbed her in the. Yeah, he stabbed her in the. I think he stabbed her in the face.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Which is a
it
bit-
was something similar in that it looked like he just punched. It looked like he punched her, right? And then it turns out he had a blade in his hand. But same thing with Salman Rushdie. They thought people thought this guy was punching him, but because if you're going like that, they don't see this blade in your hand, and you're far away and you don't see the blade. Repeatedly jabbing someone with a knife looks like you're just punching them.
I mean, why? I understand stabbing somebody in the neck, but I don't understand why you would even try to stab somebody in the face. I mean, that probably won't help you achieve your goal of killing the other person, unless you're just trying to make them look terrible afterward.
Whereas,
But
I mean, in reality, you look kind of cool if you get stabbed in the face. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you've seen there's an actor. There's an actor. I think he's Irish, but he has one of those. It's called something like a Glasgow smiley or something like that. Where there was a thing back in the day. They'd cut like a big smiley face on you, but it makes you look cool.
Yeah. I wish somebody had stabbed me in the face at some point. Unfortunately, it didn't happen yet. Varun said, oh yeah, we just read that. Hakamal Randawas made a super sticker, which I cannot see, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. Graze174 said, would you do jihad if God existed and told you to? Depends on what you mean by jihad. David, yes, no?
Yes, we would do this internal struggle.
Yes.
This internal spiritual struggle, like, going to the gym and stuff, and it's struggle. Jihad just means struggle.
Jihad means struggle. I would try to be a good person. Salman said, how could anybody believe in a single word the Quran says? Well, nobody was really invited to believe in it. I'm being hyperbolic when I say nobody, of course. Like 2-3 people were actually convinced by how beautiful Islam is. But most of humanity, most Muslims are Muslims because their ancestors were conquered by the peaceful religion of Islam. So, yeah. ASDF said, look up Act 17 for even deeper insights. Act 17 doesn't exist. What are you talking about? Oh, if you mean Act 17 in Act 17, or if you don't mean Act 17 Apologetics, the YouTube channel, then I guess yes. But if you mean Act 17 Apologetics, the YouTube channel, it doesn't exist anymore. The guy who was running that channel is dead. GQ said, is Israel a net good in the world? What a question,
man. I'm sensing troll. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like trying to.
Yeah. What am I supposed like? These are like
comment on Ukraine right now. Talk about Ukraine in this video about Salman Rushdie. Well, I want you to say it.
Say something about Russia right now.
And you can always tell
because Russia is good
because they'll post something that they want you to comment on, and no matter which side you happen to be on any issue, you upset some people, right? And that's classic trolling, man.
Yeah, you could ask me about any country with the same question. I would not have an answer for that. So I don't even understand what's going on here. Sainath said a poor Hindu innocent tailor was murdered in India. If we are talking about the same guy who simply apparently had a discussion and defended what's her name again? The woman who offended Muhammad on TV by speaking of Nupur Sharma, yes, who said facts about him. Then yeah, but lots of stuff happens to lots of people who try to speak out or who say something about Islam in India and around the world. Jackie Coley made a super sticker, which I believe I should be able to see here somewhere. Where is it? And once we have that, we will. Oh yeah, it says OP. That's nice. Okay, all right. Anything that you want to add, David?
Nope. I'm gonna go edit a video that I just recorded. I was gonna launch a polemics channel later, but you had that attack. You had those attacks in, what was it, New Mexico? I think it was New Mexico.
Yeah, New Mexico.
And people thought there was some right-wing serial killer going around killing Muslims. Turned out to be, it seems like at least, a Muslim from a different sect targeting Shia Muslims. And so that almost drove me to start the channel early. But now Salman Rushdie in the face, and the risk of copycats coming up. Anyway, just recorded a quick video right before we went live. Have to edit it now.
I thought you just said a Muslim from a different sex. And I was like, wait a minute. What?
Different sect, you pervert. You see these atheists? They can't, that's all they can think about. You say, hey, look at this sect. And they go, huh? Sex? Are we talking about sex now? My goodness.
Not sex as in having sex. I am thinking about the other thing. It's you who is the pervert, David. I found this one very funny, by the way. This guy, C.G. Worldman, who is founded by Muslim organizations to say good things about Islam.
There was a bunch of those.
Said Muslims, particularly Pakistani Muslims, are being targeted for assassination in New Mexico, which, by the way, is in America. For those who are outside of America, that is not Mexico; it's a state in America. The perpetrator is most likely a white supremacist, but would not be surprised if we learn she is a Hindu nationalist. News: Afghan man Muhammad Said charged in killing of 2 Muslims in Albuquerque, suspected in 2 others.
And there were lots of comments like that. Now notice, until you know the details, that's kind of correct, and that's usually why you wait for a little more. You wait for a little more information. Like, I wasn't even crazy about posting the video right there, even though we have the dude's name and we have some connection to Iran and so on. I still would have preferred waiting a few days or something like that to let more information come in, because guess what? You could have a white supremacist going around killing Muslims. You could have a Hindu nationalist deciding that he's going to go around killing Muslims because he's mad about the Nupur Sharma controversy. It could happen, but you could also have a Sunni going around killing Shias, because that happens too. And so the idea is you might wait at least for some sort of information, because it's a messed up world and there are messed up people. And so there are a lot of people who, anytime someone's killed, there's multiple different kinds of groups that could be responsible for it. But this one, man, a lot of people ended up looking really stupid by blaming groups for attacks that turned out to be one Muslim killing Muslims who are Shias.
Yeah. I want to finally quickly check the latest to give everyone an update for those who are too lazy to look it up for themselves. But apparently the latest is there are no more news about this issue as we are talking. So the latest news are that Salman Rushdie is alive. He's not dead right now. But his agent said that the situation is pretty bad. It's pretty serious. He is currently on a ventilator and he might lose his eye. And he also has damage to his liver, and
he was messed up. They said there was a pool of blood, and someone showed the whiteboard that was in the background, and that had blood spatters on it. So he was messed up. And again, this isn't like a 20-year-old guy getting stabbed and being able to power through it. This is a 75-year-old man.
Yeah.
And a lot of 75-year-old people, if they hit the ground, or if they just fall over, that would be dangerous. But being tackled and stabbed repeatedly in the liver, face, throat, arm, and so on, that's if Salman Rushdie pulls through, he might be more powerful than they ever imagined.
Yeah, he's more powerful than Allah, definitely, and Muhammad combined. But yeah, so the latest news, New York Times, where his agent actually wrote and commented on the issue, is that hours after the attack, he came out of surgery and he's still on a ventilator. So that's the news. The attacker is a 24-year-old man whose name is Hadi Matar, who is of some background. We have no idea why he did this.
24 years old.
But that's the situation. So, okay. If that's it, I told David I will keep it under an hour because he has to go, but I deliberately wanted to do it a little bit longer, so he has to stay here a little bit longer. With all that said, thanks everybody. Have a fantastic day, and stay away from
TikTok, time to rock.
what? that made no sense.
I thought we were doing our catchphrases.
Yeah. Somebody said, API, you're really an atheist. I can't believe that. Why can you not? But what the hell does it even mean?
Because it's such a dumb position. They're saying you're too smart for that. But I've already explained it. You have a perverted mind that's always focused on sex.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not even, I don't even know if that's supposed to be a compliment or a criticism. So that's the whole thing. But yeah, no, I am. But thanks for watching, everybody. Have a fantastic day, and sorry for the noise that I just made. If I made any, have a fantastic day and stay away from Islam and TikTok. Time to rock.